Star Wars saga, one of the greatest epics ever in sci-fi history. But what would some of the planets actually be like, and the stars that they surround? In this video we're going to be trying to bring some of that back to life. So let's get to it. So the first place we're going to be looking at is known as Naboo. Some of you may know it as home to the droid R2D2. It's a small blue world of some 6,000 kilometers and has ownership of 3 moons. Onam the smallest, Varuna the second largest, and the largest at 1500 kilometers radius of Omadun. The star itself is also known as Naboo, and Naboo is home to 4.5 billion Gungans, who indeed enjoy building their homes around water. So, the Naboonian system, it looks something like this, with Naboo being the third planet out from the star. It's thought that there are 2 Jovian-sized planets as well orbiting, whereas Naboo itself has a day of 26 hours, its year is 312 days, and its distance from the Sun at around 0.8 astronomical units makes it very similar in position to the Earth. The star itself, however, is substantially smaller. The masses are 0.86 solar masses, a smaller radius, and a luminosity of just 0.59 solar luminosities. This makes it a more distant and colder world. Let's have a look at how that plays out. Here we see depicted a Sevilla-like plaza on planet Naboo. In the distance you can see the Gallo Mountains, and in the more foreground the famous Cambalictus tree. Naboo is home to a famous lettuce as well, and as I said, the Gungans make up the majority of the population. Slowly rising, we can see the Naboo star, a K2V class star, which is a bit like Alpha Centauri b. Slowly it moves ahead of the 4 other planets in the system. This star at around 1 astronomical unit would still be very bright and would be ideal really for a habitable planet. Indeed, Anakin Skywalker himself said, "If I grew up here, I don't think I'd ever leave." Naboo must have been a really nice place. The next place that we're going to talk about is known as Tatooine, a more famous place, home to Luke Skywalker. Tatooine is larger than Naboo at 10,000 kilometers and has moons known as Chinini, Gamasa and Gomarasan, all of which are reasonably large but not that large. The interesting thing about the Tatooine system is the twin stars, and Tatooine itself is in the first position. Let's see how that plays out. So again, the system only has 2 known planets. Tatooine, which we can see here, orbits at a distance of between 1 and 2 astronomical units. Its day is 34 hours and its year 304 days. There we see a distance of 1.6 astronomical units. Now remember as well, because its day is longer, its year is also longer than planet Earth. As we can see also in the distance is a large gas planet outside of the habitable zone. The twin stars themselves, Tatoo 1, is a larger star than the Sun, something a bit similar to Alpha Centauri a, with a mass of 1.06 solar masses, its luminosity being slightly more at 1.1, whereas the Tatoo 1-2 star is a smaller star at 0.62 solar masses and a luminosity of just 0.33, but you have to remember that the 2 are combined now, which makes it larger habitable zones in our own solar system. Here we can see the famous depiction of Tatooine, and with its moons in the distance. Tatooine is a hot and arid place, just like Arrakis from the novel Dune, and its home star Canopus. Here we see rising the Tatoo stars. Tatoo 1, a G2V sun-like star at minus 25.5 apparent magnitude, and Tatoo 2, a K1V at 24.2. We can see them dancing with each other in the sky, and slowly as the sun begins to set. Tatooine, as I said, is a desert world that has a population of just 200,000 and is home to worms, a bit like Dune. It's unknown though if there's any spice, the 2 worlds, Dune and Arrakis, almost being twins. In our final world in today's video, we're going to visit the home of Han Solo. It's known as Correlia and is the largest of the 3 today at 11,000 kilometers of radius. Correlia, just like the other 2 planets, also has moons, but they're smaller this time. Gus Treta at just 62 kilometers and Gus Talon at 995 kilometers make up its system. Corellia's capital is known as Coronet and is a temperate world, and a population of 3 billion, of which 60% are human. It's a place that has severe rainstorms, as we're about to find out, but first of all let's see how this rates in its system. So we can see here the Corellian system is quite a large system, with Corellia in the centre there. It has other planets, of which some are gas giants and some are rocky worlds. Its day is 25 hours and its year 329 days, and distance of 0.9 astronomical units. It's in a very similar position to the Earth itself, being slightly closer in, but further up, but the difference being that the Corel star is actually quite a lot smaller than our own Sun, at masses of just 0.77 solar masses, which translates to a luminosity of just 0.37 solar luminosities. So although Corellia is roughly in the same position as Earth, it doesn't receive anywhere near as much sunlight or energy from its star, and which makes it, as we said, a stormy world. Other planets' names are Celonia, Dral, Talus and Tralus. But the interesting thing also about Corellia is it's home to the Centrepoint Station, which is a space station capable of moving entire planets with its tractor beam. Perhaps Corellia was moved into this position, we just don't know at this point. Let's have a look how that plays out. So here we can see the wet, rainy and windy world of Corellia. The Millennium Falcon slowly takes off. In the distance, the Centrepoint Station, and remember, with a tractor beam capable of moving worlds, must be a wonder to behold. Now, the Millennium Falcon slowly leaves and we can see the Corel star in the distance, another K2b star, so again like an Alpha Centauri b star. Corel 2v would be shining at around -25.9, which is probably slightly brighter than the Sun on Mars. So a habitable world, but again wet, rainy and windy. Perhaps that's why Han Solo didn't spend that much time there. As the Millennium Falcon slowly leaves the green pastures of Corellia, we wonder where it is headed. Will we see future star systems in the franchise that represent other star classes? As we can see, the three so far have only been K2b or G2b stars, but these aren't the only stars in the universe that could hold life. Perhaps there's an A-type star like Sirius, or perhaps the giant class of Aldebaran. What would these worlds be like, and how would they affect the delicate balance in the continuing Star Wars saga? Well done for getting this far. Please don't forget to add a like, as it does help the channel grow if you've enjoyed the video. Would you like more sci-fi things like this? We could do a second part on the Star Wars saga, or perhaps the Alien saga, or another one of interest. Anyway, stay safe in these difficult times, and I'll see you on the next one.